Hello YouTubes, this is Grimweird, and of course our lovely avatar, Zombie Steve, and we are coming back to you again today with more Enigmatica 2 Expert Mod Pack for Minecraft. We did get some things accomplished in between the last episode and this episode, so wanted to start banging out more gates and more rewards. So taking a look at things, we Immersive Engineering. These alloy bricks, kiln bricks, are pretty easy to make. They are just sandstone and brick. So I don't think we really need this alloy furnace or the alloy kiln or whatever it's called because we have Tinker's Construct, and I think you can make everything you need there. But I went ahead and made them anyway and claimed them. And I do sort of like the look of them, so I might use them for like a garden path, or when we start actually making our base look nice, start using them as paving stones. So what did we get? A Kim thrower turret, another rare one. So we're getting now we have a couple of gun turrets and a couple of Kim thrower turrets. So I guess we're going to war, boys. So what else do we got here? I went around. I finally made the blast furnace, so we had I went and gathered a little bit more netherrack from. I forgot. I've been putting off going to the nether because I know that I'll get sucked in and I'll end up spending a lot of time there, and I have so much stuff to do on the overworld still. But I remembered that there are. I think I destroyed it enough that I can't recognize it. But there are what I sort of call hell craters that, here it is. So there are these sort of craters, and instead of having a skystone meteorite in them, they're filled with a few blocks of lava and netherrack and soul sand and obsidian. So usually there's a bunch of obsidian in there, and that's how it's pretty easy to spot on the map. So I ran over there and grabbed, see if I can spot another one real quick. So the craters with the skystone usually have the big black spot in the middle, like these guys. Here's another one. So this here, that's going to be one that has the brown as the soul sand. There's some lava in there, and that dark blackish stuff is probably the obsidian. So again, if you're in a hurry to get some netherrack or soul sand, for instance, let's say you find some nether wart in a chest really early in the game and you want to get that moving, that's a place to get some soul sand. So we got that going. I'm going to claim this, get another loot chest, see if we get anything awesome. A fission controller. That's actually probably going to be useful at some point. Another rare reward. So that's a good one. So what else do we got? So I also went ahead and made the engineer's workbench. It's really easy. We've got a ton of creosote now, so I just made some of the treated wood, and it's just a real simple recipe. So we're going to claim that loot chest and see what we got. Apricot jelly sandwich. All right. Some good food there. And we had found some blueprints in chests in villages. And I also made a couple more. So we're going to claim that. Just a note on that, blue dye. You've of course got the blue flowers. So there are the Botania blue mystical flowers that you can turn into flower dust. You can use lapis. But one of the things that was sort of new to me was these quark blue sprouts. So those can be turned into blue dye as well. So I use those. And we got some angel blocks. I got those in my initial investigation of this pack, and you're able to just sort of place them in air. So they just sort of float. And again, so I could just sort of boom, place it in air, not touching anything. So it might be handy They do teleport back with Global Traveler. So those might be handy with when I'm doing some building or things like that. So we'll throw them in the gear backpack for later. And what else did we get going here? So that's as far as we made it. I did go ahead and set up the blast furnace. I just sort of threw it down because I know that it's quickly going to ask us to make the improved blast furnace. And very soon after that, we're going to probably not need a blast furnace at all. But we are cooking things here. One nice thing about getting this set up, getting the coke oven set up much earlier than the blast furnace, is that we had plenty of coke around. So I have already made, I think, at least a couple stacks of steel, and I think I've been playing around with some, so I might have a half stack running around somewhere. Oh, another thing, I was showing you how I use this modular bookcase to deactivate anywhere from 1 to all books, one bookcase at a time, and that allowed us to play around and get a pretty cheap, nice bow. So the bow now has Unbreaking 3, XP Boost 3, which I'm not that worried about, multi-shot 4, Infinity, and Withering. So basically all I'm really missing is power 4 from this bow. Now, most of you are probably thinking, dude, just make a Tinker's Construct crossbow or shuriken or something. Well, yeah, I could, and I might if I was going to be doing a lot of fighting. But right at the moment, I have more experience that I know what to do with, since I have osmium tool rods on all of my tools. So I gain experience really fast, and I might as well burn it up. And I'm sort of holding out for a laser gun. I just started to play with one when I decided to re-roll and start a Let's Play series, this playthrough series that I'm on. So on my last world, I had just made one, and I found it pretty awesome. So the main thing I want is that I found really useful is I had Global Traveler on it. So when I shot things with my ranged weapon, the monster drops teleported straight into a chest, which is really handy when you're hunting, say, blazes that are flying around over lava. You don't have to worry about, or gas tiers. I always seem to lose gas tiers because they fall into some place I can't get to or fall into lava. Whereas with the laser gun with Global Traveler on it, those gas tiers teleported straight into my loot chest back in my base. So I'm sort of holding out for that. The only thing I'm really missing is maybe one more ingot of Osglow glass to make a crude, bad material laser pistol, and then a way to charge it. So we are going to push towards some sort of mechanism charge pad or something like that, so we can start charging gear. So other things that are going on, let's see. Over here, these I wanted to, still sort of looking for green Thaumcraft crystals. So I had noticed a couple of caves early on, and I marked them for later. I did run over to one of them, and there was some interesting stuff over there. So we'll get into that in a later one. I'm starting to think that biomes plenty not only means plenty of biomes and plenty of resources in those biomes, but also plenty of villages and plenty of dungeons and plenty of spawners. It's because I found, I think, 2 dungeons in there. I ended up destroying a spider spawner because I don't think I need to farm spiders. And I can always use that for Ender IO and maybe change monsters on it, and etc. So I just charged it and killed it. But there, I think, is also another room in there in a different direction that also had some spawners. And there's also a dude. What actually drew me down there was I just was going to peek in and check for green Thaumcraft crystals, since that's the color I'm missing to really get moving on Thaumcraft. But I heard a villager down there, and those of you who have played with Biomes of Plenty or whatever that is, probably already know what that is, but I don't. There was a little room with an iron door with some sort of dude in there. So we're going to go back and talk to him at some point, probably in a later episode. Another thing I did was I've been putting off going to the Nether, but I do really need to get over there and see what's going on. So I fleshed out this sort of back door to our fort that leads over to the well, hello boys. That leads over to the redwood forest. I don't like having my obsidian or my nether portal right in my base or even too near my base, because the sound of it and the sound of pigmen banging on doors and whatnot gets on my nerves. So I figured I'd put it over here by my exit to the redwood forest, since I don't use this very often. So I built this up, threw some chests out for any goodies, and let's go ahead and activate it. So I have not been through this yet. I should probably go. I'm going to pause a moment here. We will jump cut. I'm going to make sure my inventory is cleaned up, and then we'll go through and take a look at what's on the other side. And as I was cleaning out my inventory, I remembered I did have a few other things that I wanted to get done real quick. One thing I did do was went to the Carpenter and turned log and water into wood pulp. So we now have some cardboard boxes. So when we do either find some zombie or skeleton or blaze spawners, we're going to try and snag one or two or three or four and take them back to us and set up a monster farm. So I'm going to have those in my backpack. So that was one of the important things that I wanted to grab, especially before going to the Nether, because it's so much easier to just grab a blaze spawner and bring it back to your base and set up a farm there than it is to try and set up a farm in the Nether while you're getting attacked by all sorts of stuff. And then the other thing was I wanted to continue to push on with forestry and some of the other gates. So extra utilities, I really need to get that moving so I can get some better power for the base, and some other stuff, and these speed upgrades. Of these three recipes, this one isn't, none of them are really too bad. This one, these large iron plates take, like, if you smelt them, I think they're 8 each. So that's like 32 iron right there, and also 4 aluminum. So that's sort of expensive. This one here, it's not too bad, but it does use up nickel, and I haven't mined a lot of nickel yet. So I'm going to go with this recipe that uses the iron electron tubes. You get 4 of them for 5 iron, and so that's actually not too bad. And we already have a bunch of sturdy casings that we made and got as rewards. So I'm going to go ahead and double up on this and make 6 machine blocks. Let me just double check if I even want to try and triple up. So we're definitely going to want one for a crusher. We're going to need one for a furnace just for unlocking rewards. We're going to need one for a furnace generator. Definitely going to need one for the resonator. I think we use these in a few other ones. So yeah, it looks like we don't need a ton of these. So probably getting 6 of them will last us possibly forever. So Thermitic Fabricator, I haven't actually shown this in use yet. So like the other forestry ones, we are going to teach it a recipe and then put the supplies down here. So we're teaching it, boom, and now it has a recipe, but it's missing liquids. And the inventory still needs resources until we give it the redstone. So now this one, liquid glass is what it's looking for. I guess it's looking for, it can hold eight buckets. I haven't exactly figured out, haven't used this enough to figure out how much you get per sand. I'm guessing like 1 millibucket per sand, or I don't know. Anyway, so it builds up heat by using up power until it gets to this mark, and then it starts melting things. And I think it might need more sand. And there it goes. So that's a pretty fast and easy recipe. Looks like I got too much sand in there. But that gives us 8, so that will allow us to, what is it we're after again? Machine block. There it is. All right, so 6 machine blocks. And I tell you what, this morning I ended up doing our manual crushing of a bunch of, let's see, I should probably look and see what these are made. I know I don't want the water mills, but I might want the dark ineffable glass. I don't know how hard it is to make. Let's take a look at that real quick. Anyway, I was manually doing some ore doubling, crushing some ore with our small plate presser, but that's getting real old. So getting the extra utilities crusher up and running would be nice. So that is just gold and redstone. So those aren't actually that hard to make. If I look at the ineffable glass, that requires a moonstone, which requires lunar reactive dust, and I don't even know what all that crap is, so that's obviously going to be harder for me to make. So I'm going to go ahead and choice reward the dark ineffable glass. That's glass that you can throw up that you can walk through, but it doesn't let light through it, and it doesn't let monsters through, so that's sort of cool stuff. So we're going to get that. And that means that we have now opened gate extra utilities. So we could click on this and check and claim the manual. And we've already made the machine blocks to even open the place. So we claim that. And I sort of jumped ahead and made a survival generator to help power my forestry tools. So we could claim that. And we jumped ahead and made some solar panels, even though I guess we didn't really need grid power to run the survival generator. But we made it anyway. So yeah, we're going to want to make the resonator by next episode. And also make some fire generation mills, some fire mills. Obtaining any of the 3 mills will complete this quest. So I like the fire mill. I played around with that for the first time last week when I was testing this mod pack, and that seemed to work well. So we'll make some of those probably next time. And now we can get into a little bit better generators as well. So that'll be nice. And also golden lassos, we can make some of those. Those allow you to capture monsters in them, or animals or whatnot. And so I'll probably go out and grab a couple cows and set up a little farm for cows, because we're going to need to start breeding up a cow herd for pink slime farming. All right, so that's all good stuff. Going to throw my new book into my Akashic Tome as soon as I spot it. Here it is. Left click into space to turn it back into Akashic Tome. Go into the crafting table, add the extra utilities to it, and boom. Alright, so, and we got 2 more loot chests, so let's take a look at those. Enhanced Building Guide. I have no idea what that is. And more food. Good food. 4.2% nutrients for 4 out of the 5 nutrient classes. So that's some good stuff there. We like that. It's not as exciting as Osgold Glass Box, but hey, they can't all be home runs. So I'm going to throw this stuff out here, blah, blah, blah. Put all this stuff away. And then we will go to the Nether, because that's probably more exciting than watching me craft. But I did want to show you guys what I got in the loot chests. Let's see, was there anything else we really needed to do? Yeah, so we'll take a look and start opening up some of the quests in the magic. And this reminds me, I need to get some rubber. So I need to find some rubber trees and some rubber saplings and get that moving. Okay, that's probably good enough for now. I want to bring a bunch of stone so I can sort of make a little landing port in the Nether. So let me go grab some stone. I think I got a ton over here. Yes. So we'll take some of that with us. And let's see how bad it looks on the other side of our portal. I seem to have horrible luck with these portals in that I tend to walk through and like be perched above a huge sea of lava with like, oh, this ain't bad at all. This does not appear to be bad at all. Yeah, I can work with this. I'm going to step back through real quick. Yeah, so I'm going to get a bit better prepared so that I can start throwing through it down a little fort on that side. Might go grab some of the iron bars that I've been stealing from every place that has iron bars to use as windows, because I like to be able to see outside, but I want something that isn't going to break if gas starts shooting at it. So we got some of those. We should have a ton of things over here. Right now the brown magic teleportation on my sword is set to go back to that dungeon that we found off to the northwest. But I think I'm going to change it to this fort in the Nether. I don't think there's any shortages of dungeons, and I can always glide her back there when I need to. So I'm going to grab some iron bars to use as windows, and let's well grab a few stairs. All right, let's boogie. Alright, so first things first, blazes and, ooh, that's nice. Blazes and gas have a tendency to light all this nether rock on fire, as I'm sure most of you are aware. And so I sort of like to not have my portal surrounded by flaming netherrack. So we're going to go ahead and put up some stone here. It's probably enough. I don't need to make a huge landing pad here, just enough that I have a place to retreat to when things get ugly. and that I'm not going to get shot by anything as I appear here. Oh man, I have to be really careful with vein miner and stuff here. That was the most dangerous thing when I was testing this last week. It was the most dangerous thing since I'm new to vein miner. I was able to, I had a pretty fast pick and I was able to just take out massive amounts of netherrack by accident, and got myself in real trouble real quick. Alright, just a little bit more here. I don't know how much netherrack I have between me and the lava below us, but whoa. Pick is moving a bit more quick through this netherrack than I feel comfortable with, but okay. And this is probably enough of a and you guys probably don't need to watch me do this, so I'm going to, just to conserve time on the video, I'm going to go ahead and do a pause here since it looks like things are relatively calm at the moment, and finish building up a little fort here, and then we'll come back and see what we're up against. I want to also check the time, run time here. I don't want to go on and on, so we will be right back. And we're back. So it wasn't too horrible. So we did have a couple of attacks, but nothing we couldn't survive. So these guys, again, I'm original gangster from back in the vanilla days. So back then, it's like blazes pretty much were only in nether fortresses, and even then, it was pretty much only around the spawners and whatnot. So the whole idea of these guys just sort of spawning willy-nilly all over the landscape and sniping at you is a bit crazy for me. So I got shot by a couple of blazes. Ghast has always been sort of a problem. So I did get shot at a couple times by a ghast. Had a vampire bat stop by, but I killed it. Or a fire bat, I should say. It was annoying. But we've got ourselves a foothold in the nether. I think right at the moment, I'm going to double check time on our video for today's episode, and then sort of start looking around to see what we've got going on in this neighborhood. I see we've got some flesh here, but we've still got netherrack too. Finding some crystal would be cool. Some nether crystal. But yeah, foothold established. One thing I did was one thing I should do real quick here is I found an ender book. I haven't actually used it yet, but I have put a couple of waypoints in. Home is actually the downstairs where the smelter is. Fort is upstairs where our above ground presence is. I'm going to go ahead and call this Nether Foothold. Say new. So again, I haven't used this, but at least I will have it if I need it for something. And then the other thing is, I think I'm going to go ahead and reassign the my brown magic function on my sword to appearing right about here. So set teleportation point for tool to be there. So now if I'm just, somewhere in my fort and decide I want to come back here, I can just teleport here. And more importantly, when I run outside and start glidering around looking for another fortress and a blaze spawner, if I run into any trouble, I can go boop and instantly transport back to this spot. So that's going to be pretty huge advantage. Got a bunch of bone and flesh out there. Oh, I did pick up some ardite ore. That's the other thing maybe I should just try and do real quick while I am here, is look around for some cobalt. If I could snag some cobalt real quick, that would make me happy. I'll figure out what I'm going to do with doors and with entry and exit and mining around our foothold. But just real quick, I want to take a quick dash around and see if I can spot any cobalts. Oh, so there's... And that's enough of that. Don't you love that brown magic? So we got blazes, we got gas, we got stuff all over the place. Yeah, maybe I'll come back and do that later. So I'm going to head back to the base for now. Boink. And see what I got going on there again. And see what kind of time we're running on today's video. And then decide if we want to call it an episode here. I'll be right back. Okay, yeah, we're at our time limit for today's video. Next time we're going to probably go back there for some cobalt and make some manulin, or however you pronounce that. Get a foothold, start getting some mining over there. Take a quick look around for another fortress. I'm also, in between this episode and the next, I'm going to take a look at, where we're at on all of our gates. We did just harvest some. We did not just harvest some. I'm confused. It says it's unclaimed reward and complete, but when I click on it, and I don't think I picked up any cobalt. Okay, anyway, we'll figure that out. I'll go through here and see if there's what we're going to build next. We want to... There's some really important stuff in mechanism that we need to get, but we need to mine some more osmium and get a few more blaze powders, probably. Well, actually, I think I have a couple left over, but we need to mine some osmium, so I'll do that in between this episode and next. If we look at the mechanism pathway, this metallurgic infuser for making all of these, they really cross-link to this stuff. So these basic control circuits and enriched alloys, and even the advanced control circuits and reinforced alloys, are used in a lot of different mods for a lot of different things in this quest pack. So this is where we come in, and then that's the first machine we have to make. But it's actually really useful, and that's going to open a lot of stuff up for us. And the enrichment chamber is also really great. You can get some really good yields out of some stuff from it, and also this material really helps your yield when making this material. So in other words, I think you need to use redstone to make the best basic control circuit, but compressing and enriching the redstone makes that a lot cheaper. So we're going to head real quick to these two machines on industrial craft. Another thing I'll do in between episodes is look around for some rubber trees, get some saplings and get some rubber growing, because we're going to need that. And here, the two important machines I think we're going to want real quick are the macerator and compressor. Sometimes there's a lot of ways to crush things. You got the pulverizer, the crusher, the macerator. There's lots of ways to beat things up, but usually sometimes one of those methods gives you a better yield than others. I think forestry, we're going to let that lie for now. We're going to end up making probably a farm at some point, but I've never done that, so I'll have to read up on that. We're going to get into making bees at some point, but I've never done that, so we'll have to look at that. But yeah, so we'll come back to forestry. I've got sort of the main stuff of forestry that I wanted to get early. Get some more blaze powder, and we'll get into the improved blast furnace. And the one thing I really want here is the metal press. Um, so I think I just need a few things to get into that. So I'll work on that also. Oh, and I want to make a bunch of these thermoelectric generators. I picked up some ice. It's easy to get lava. I think this is going to be a good passive power source for us as a next step, especially down at bedrock level. Up here at top, I could probably use, you know, maybe the mechanism, solar panels, and the wind generators. But down at bedrock level, I think we're going to want to get into these thermoelectric generators as sort of our next step in power down there. Extra utilities. Definitely want to make a crusher ASAP. I can make one of those right now, so I'm going to do that so that I don't have to continue to do the small plate press pushing of buttons to double some ore. So that's going to be a big step up for my ore processing. I've been doing a lot of off-camera place a block, crush it, place a block, crush it, and that's getting real old. We'll probably update the survival generator to a furnace generator. What does that do? Yeah, from burnables like coal and planks. We've got tons of charcoal left, so definitely going to do that. Already talked about mechanism. Want to open up actually additions and get an atomic reconstructor, because very soon we're going to start needing this kind of stuff, all of these special Inori crystals and this kind of crap. We're going to start needing that pretty soon. And industrial foregoing, the latex processing unit and tree fluid extractor to make rubber plastic. That seemed to be much better than playing with trees. So I want to probably get into that real quick. We'll grab enough rubber to just get, industrial craft rolling. But then we want to get moving on to probably the industrial foregoing rubber and plastic, because that seemed a bit easier. So yeah, that's what's coming up over the next few episodes, and I'll start working on that kind of stuff. And I will talk to you next time. Bye.